fictionalized in Wilkie Collins' The Law and the Lady, and in the 1950 David Lean film Madeline. Better known in the United States, often because journalists bestowed colourful names on them, are such infamous serial killers as the Hillside Stranglers, Kenneth Bianchi and Angelo Buono, the Son of Sam, David Berkowitz, the co-ed killer, Edmund Kemper, the BTK, Bind, Torture and Kill killer, Dennis Rader, the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, the Milwaukee Cannibal, Jeffrey Dahmer, the Green River Killer, Gary Ridgway, John Wayne Gacy and Ted Bundy, prolific murderers who somehow eluded colourful titles, and Charles Manson, probably the most fearsome American psychopath of the 20th century. His crimes splashed along headlines for years, partially because of the unspeakable brutality of the crimes, and partially because of the fame and beauty of one of the victims, Sharon Tate. There is a seemingly limitless number of people who have committed untold numbers of heinous acts throughout the long history of Homo sapiens, a species almost unique in its ability to kill within the species for the sheer pleasure of it. With so many others having murdered in even greater numbers than Jack the Ripper, and some equally brutal, or worse, engaging in unspeakably depraved torture of living victims, a practice almost entirely eschewed by Saucy Jack, why does he continue to maintain his place at the top of the public's radar? While students of criminology are not unanimous in attributing the number of the Ripper's victims, with 5 apparently accepted universally, but 1, 2, 3, or 4 others also credited to him by various scholars, it is generally agreed that all the murders occurred during the autumn of 1888, again with outliers claiming at least an additional year at either end. The victims were all prostitutes in London's East End, a ghetto teeming with the poorest segment of the population. The dark, narrow alleyways, often ending in cul-de-sacs, were perfect venues in which to commit an act of violence, or a transaction of a sexual nature, performed by a member of the largest profession of the neighbourhood. The noxious fumes of coal stoves and fireplaces, as well as the factories located in the area, combined to provide an almost permanently darkened sky, a smog known as London particular. The women of the night, prowling the streets, looking for partners to pay them enough for a glass of warming gin, were perfect victims, willing, no, eager, to slip off to a darkened corner to quickly ply their trade. Although police patrolled regularly throughout the night, it was seldom the cream of the force, and the odds of them catching a criminal in the act, with visibility frequently limited to 2 or 3 feet, were slim. Since so few cared about the victims of the Ripper's carnage while they were alive, why has their fate continued to resonate today? A likely reason is that he was never caught. Having spread a tsunami of terror for a short time, he disappeared completely, leaving his identity to be theorized, discussed, argued, and written about for decade after decade. It did not hurt his legacy of notoriety that he frequently taunted the police, with the complicity of the local press, by sending letters warning them of forthcoming attacks and daring them to catch him if they can. The frisson of terror evoked by his name, Jack the Ripper, so much more chilling than merely Jack the Killer or Jack the Stabber, stays in the memory and on the tongue so easily. He was written about in such extreme terms, first of course in newspapers, but then in magazine articles and books, that he provided endless fodder for those who became intrigued by him. Theories about his identity were rampant, with clues clutched to advance one theory, while other possible pieces of evidence were ignored if they suggested that someone else was the genuine article. Other Ripperologists rushed to discredit the first theory and advance their own, which suffered the same fate at the hands of still other students of the crimes. Jack the Ripper has now been proven to be any one of at least 6 people by various authors and scholars. This collection has articles describing the area of the atrocities, accounts of the murders, and theories about the identity of Red Jack by some